Today we're going to talk about procrastination, how I fight procrastination, what procrastination is, how it shows up in your life, and what to do about it. Hey, I'm Haya. I help high-achieving women, aspiring high achievers, and multi-passionate entrepreneurs to live a life they absolutely love and settle for nothing less than pure joy, passion, and excellence. Today, we're going to talk about procrastination, which is the ultimate killer of aspiring high achievers and entrepreneurs. So I learned something a long time ago in my life that I want to share with you today that has made such a big difference for me once I was able to very clearly label exactly what procrastination is and what it is not. So I want to share it with you right now. You ready? Here we go. Procrastination is death in slow motion. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to say it again. Procrastination is death in slow motion. Death of whatever it is that you are trying to create, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to build your business, death of the business in slow motion. If you're trying to build a healthy life, it's death of that healthy life in slow motion. Whatever you're trying to do, procrastination is absolutely a killer of that end goal. It is ultimately delaying what we do not want to do. It is a form of escapism. I'm sure you've heard this term before, but where we can escape from our reality into something else. So a lot of times we will put off doing what we actually want to achieve and as a form of self-sabotage that we're not even aware of what's happening, because what we say that we want, what we think we want, what we really want truly deep down, it's totally out of our comfort zone. And that's usually the case. Usually our goals are outside of our comfort zone. Heck, if they were inside our comfort zone, then they wouldn't be stretch goals to begin with, right? So procrastination is delaying the things that we say that we want because they make us uncomfortable for whatever reason, right? Now, what is procrastination not? Okay, procrastination is just because you have things that are left on your to-do list for a week, a month, a year, a decade. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're procrastinating those things. It could be that those things are on our list of things that we want to get done, but they're not priorities. So they keep getting bumped, and that's a separate issue altogether. That's not procrastination, that's something else, and we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, but what we're talking about right here is a form of self-sabotage, delaying the things that we don't like doing, delaying the things that make us cringe, delaying the things that are uncomfortable for us. And quite honestly, they are really standing in the way of what we want to create, but because they are uncomfortable, we're not able to get there. We're not able to make it happen. Okay, so the first thing that we want to look at is, why is it not getting done? Are you resisting it and putting it off just because it's uncomfortable? Or is it truly something that's not a priority? And again, there is an important difference between actual procrastination and delaying things that simply are not priorities in life. So there will always be some things that go undone for high achievers. You just want to make sure it's the important things that are getting done and not the unimportant things, right? So if things are not getting accomplished because we simply don't have time for them, we want to make sure it's the unimportant things that keep getting bumped. And that is a matter of prioritization, not a matter of procrastination. So we must learn to be disciplined with ourselves. Otherwise, we're going to be disciplined by the world. And that's just like one of the top number one rules of life as an entrepreneur, is that if we don't discipline ourselves, then we will be disciplined by the world, by real life. And a lot of times we grow up with this fear, this hate of the word discipline because we think of it as punishment. But there is a difference between self-discipline and self-regulation and punishments. We have to make sure that we are clear on the differences there, because our self-talk will totally determine our success. Our success is directly correlated to the volume, the energy, the tone of our self-talk. And if we're not careful, self-talk can directly sabotage procrastination and stand in the way of everything else that we are working so hard to accomplish, right? So let me give you some examples of procrastination in my own life and how I address it. So if I look at my task list and I have to ask myself, okay, what keeps getting bumped from week to week to week and why? What goals do I always talk about, but I never execute? What labels or patterns have I carried for months or years that I really, really hate? I don't like these things about myself, but I can't seem to shake them. So I know that I procrastinate things that make me uncomfortable, things that I don't want to do, but I think I should be doing them. So the first thing you have to ask yourself once you're to this point is, why should I be doing these? Should I be doing this because they are actually serving my goal and my purpose, and it's just an area of growth that I need to be willing to endure? Or am I shooting myself to death because of outside labels and expectations and allowing myself to be influenced by people that are not actually good examples of where I want to go in life? You with me on this? So once I've been able to identify these things, then let's talk about how to bust through these procrastination pitfalls. First thing I can tell you, if you have been with me for longer than 5 minutes, you have heard me talk about War Week. It is my annual excellence week where I am waging war on mediocrity that I've been doing for about 15 years now. And I know many, many of you have joined me in War Week, and you've been doing it along with me for years as well. So I have to tell you my quick little disclaimer here that our annual War Week is the ultimate procrastination buster. But I'm going to give you just some quick hacks on what you can do in the meantime until you get around to annual War Week. Okay, first of all, set your priorities. And you can 100% use my 8 lanes of life long-term life vision if you need it. We'll just put a link to it here in the description of this video. Okay, that's first of all. If you don't know how to set your priorities, if you don't know where to start on your life priorities, in other words, like what's actually really important to you, then that 8 lanes of life is an excellent tool to help you really see in one snapshot what matters to you, where do you want to go, what do you want to accomplish, who do you want to become in life. Okay, that will help you do that. Now I want you to make a list of all the things that you've been procrastinating and get clear on why. Why have you been delaying them? Okay, if it's sabotage, then we've got to tackle it. Otherwise, it will become this silent killer of your dreams. No questions asked. And once we have identified that it's just sabotage that I'm dealing with, okay, we're going to put those over to the side, and we're going to have like a little sabotage pile, okay? The other things that we're going to deal with because we've just been lazy, or we've not been properly organized, or we don't have a grip on time management, or we don't have our systems in place, or we don't have the right support team, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, that's not self-sabotage. That's just getting ourselves organized and choosing to level up and really step into playing at our A game and bringing our A game to the court every day so that we can actually do the things that are required to become the person we want to be. See, a lot of times people say, oh, I wish I could live the life you have, or do what you do, or have what you have. But the question is, are you willing to do the things required to create that life? Because if the work ethic and the self-growth do not match the dream, then it's just going to be a wish. That's all it's going to be. So if you're clear on why you're not moving forward and why these things have been procrastinated over and over and over again, like I said, make a pile of all the self-sabotage things, then let's right now deal with the other things. Okay, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to make appointments with yourself to either A, address the self-sabotage, with a professional who can actually help you through it. And then the other ones, you're just going to rip off the Band-Aid and tackle it yourself. So what does it mean to make an appointment with yourself to tackle these things? Okay, it means you make an appointment with yourself just like you make an appointment with other people in the outside world. So you set an alarm, you block out time, it's got a start time, a finish time, and you organize yourself so that nothing is interrupting you during that meeting. That's what an appointment is, right? And of course, as women, a lot of times we respect people in the outside world more than we respect ourselves. So if we set an appointment with somebody else, we're going to be on time for that meeting. But if we make an appointment with ourselves, we just bump it, and we let everything else get in the way and delay us. So we want to honor and respect ourselves and our own business and our own dreams just as much as we respect other people. And please hear my heart on this, y'all. Until you choose to respect yourself, nobody else is going to respect you. Until you choose to respect your own business and treat it like a business, nobody else is going to respect your business. If you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. And of course, we know hobbies cost you money. They don't make you money. If you treat it like a charity, it'll pay you like a charity. And of course, we know charities, you're just giving away stuff all the time. So if you really want to build a business, you've got to treat yourself like a business person, like a professional, and you've got to respect yourself in such a way. So that's what it means to make appointments with yourself. So if you've got things that have just been hanging on your list forever and you want to rip that Band-Aid off and tackle them, look in your calendar, make an appointment with yourself, let the alarm go off. You've got everything else sorted so that during that block of time, you can focus and then you have integrity with yourself and you follow through on that block of time. Okay? And at the end of that time block, let's say you've blocked out 2 hours for a project, for example. At the end of that time block, if you're not finished, just set the next appointment, just like you do with any other appointment. So a lot of entrepreneurs, and especially freelancers or early entrepreneurs that have not built huge businesses yet, they have a problem or a challenge with project creep, where the project just keeps going and going and going, and they're not able to really dial it in and keep it tight. So the same thing can be true when you're dealing with appointments to yourself because there's no external accountability. So one of the things that you can do here is at the end of that time, so whenever I have a meeting with outside people, 15 minutes before the meeting, we stop and we start to recap, summarize, review before the end of the meeting. 15 minutes before the end of the meeting, we stop, we recap, we start to review, and then we look at what are the next steps and do we need another meeting. So that meeting doesn't go from 2 hours to 3 hours to 4 hours and then derail everything else you've got planned for the day. But you stop at the end of that meeting and you plan, what do we do from here? Do we really need another meeting? Can we finish it up with an email? Do we need just some individual assignments, etc.? So you would do the same thing here yourself. So at the end of that time block that you've been working on these things, these tasks, these projects that you just want to get them out of the way. If you're not finished at the end of that time block, set the next appointment and decide what needs to be done. And this can sound overly simplified, but y'all, it really is just that simple. And please understand, there's a difference between being simple and being easy. Okay? If it were easy, everybody would do it. I'm not saying that this is easy. Overcoming procrastination pitfalls is not an easy thing to do because if it were easy, everybody would do it, and clearly everybody's not. And as we know, it may sound just like common sense, which it kind of is once we stop and think about it, but we also know that common sense isn't really so common, and we're not taught these things. These are life skills that we're not taught in normal education. So we've got to go back and figure out what are the things that I haven't learned in my life up until now that are serving as a lid on my progress, and how can I identify those things and then work to up-level myself, which is exactly what you're doing right here. So you should be proud of yourself. Don't beat yourself up. There is no need for self-judgment here. It's just not a skill we've learned up until now, right? So again, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. However, it is simple. Simple means it's not complex. So it may not be so easy to do this, but it is certainly simple. It's not rocket science, not brain surgery, Okay, so we know we're going to just eat that elephant one bite at a time because inch by inch, it's a cinch. Now, just one last note I want to share with you very quickly. There is nothing wrong with needing outside help to work through sabotage. Okay, we all have past programming and unhealthy belief systems that we have inherited or absorbed from childhood throughout the course of our life that are not serving us well now. There is no problem whatsoever in identifying those things and say, hey, I need help to work through these things. And you go out and you find yourself a professional that can help you rise above that trauma or that drama and move forward in your life. And please know, I would never dream of undermining that real life trauma or challenges that you have had to deal with in your life, and even the drama that we have to deal with on an ongoing basis. That's just life. Life is never going to slow down and calm itself down and just become, easy street. We've got to learn how to rise above those challenges and work through them. And there's nothing wrong whatsoever in hiring a professional to help you do that, to either counsel you on things retroactively in your life or coaching you moving forward. The only problem is living in denial, putting your head in the sand, saying, no, walking away and choosing not to deal with it. And therefore, you never work through it at all, which means you never are able to really rise to your purpose. Your dreams are worth more than that, my friend. You are worth more than that. So there you have it. Procrastination pitfalls, what procrastination is, what it isn't, and what the heck to do about it. You got this, girlfriend. Love ya. Bye for now.